I wanted to talk a bit today about how I'm doing at the moment. So, 2 weeks ago, I recorded a video in which I described that I was struggling a bit. So, I noticed some of the warning signs that pop up sometimes just in stressful times, but also sometimes in times where my mental health goes downhill a little bit, or at least is not optimal. And what I noticed, especially then, was that I was sleeping a lot again. So I was sleeping a lot more than I usually would and had a lot less energy than I usually would. Now, there were some life stressors going on at that point in time as well, so it would have been easy to dismiss that and just put that to the side. But as part of my relapse prevention plan, so my plan to pick up signals that I might be heading in that direction of developing depression again, I'm being very alert to those signals that often indicate or in the past have preceded a depressive episode. And that is very effective. That works really well. So some things that I've done is I had some annual leave planned and I extended that annual leave a little bit. So in total now I had about 1.5 to 2 weeks of annual leave, which is great because the main thing that helps for me when my mental health is not in an optimal position, take a step back and really pare down my to-dos and free up some time to just rest and to focus on those things that are really critical to good mental health, the basics like sleeping enough, sleeping well, not sleeping too much, having a bit of a day schedule, a very simple one, maybe 2 to 3 things every day that I want to do. Eating a bit healthier again, connecting friends, socializing a little bit, connecting with family, etc. And what I have noticed over the past couple of years of, well, the last decade really, of trying to work with it and trying to refine my relapse prevention plan to become sufficiently too early signals, but not over alarmed, but also not underactive, certain indicators my mental health might be slipping a little bit, is that quite well. So now 2 weeks after that previous video that I recorded, my sleep is much better. Probably sleeping a little bit more than I usually do, but not very much so. And I think now it seems more like a genuine catching up on perhaps some sleep, cope with some of the big changes that have been going on recently. My mood is a lot better. It wasn't particularly poor, my mood, 2 weeks ago, but I think my mood was a little bit lower as well. At the moment, it's absolutely normal range, I would say. I feel quite optimistic, feel quite happy. So nothing to worry about there either. I am quite active during the day. I've been cooking quite a bit, have bread, sourdough bread, those kind of things that I quite enjoy. Have been going to the farmers markets today and have been spending time with my kids. Just at home basically, or doing small errands out in the community. So for me, really sleep, even though it might sound extremely basic, is one very important pillar of good health and good mental health. Undersleeping very helpful for me. I still notice a little bit that I wake up at night a little bit. That's something that doesn't happen to me when my mental health is like in optimal space. I'm quite a good sleeper. Usually sleep is not very interrupted. I can easily sleep through the night. But I guess what I notice still at the moment is that I generally wake up once every night and I fall back asleep okay. No big sleep issues. but paint a realistic picture, right? It's not that I'm miraculously now 100% on top of the world in the best mental health possible, but I'm in a much better position than 2 weeks ago, where I felt really worn down, really quite stressed, struggling to cope a little bit with some external that were going on and that are still going on, but everything feels a lot more manageable at the moment. I also was quite touched by the fact that a couple of people reached out to me over the past 2 weeks, either to check in terms of how I was doing, and people that are not necessarily either my closest friends, but just acquaintances that I know a little bit, or people that I've never met, and people who have perhaps my Psychology Today articles or have seen one of these videos on my YouTube channel, and them just sharing a little bit about their own story or about their story of a loved one that they have in life and who also has some health struggles, etc., perhaps at the moment, or has kind of recovery journey as well. And I have to say that I find it really heartwarming to get those emails, etc. It's quite lovely, even if it's just one person, two people, maybe three people that experience some kind of benefit, however small that might be, from my videos or from my articles or from my other work. That's heartwarming for me, and that's really a big motivation to make these videos and to write my articles, to kind of small way to other people perhaps feeling a bit less isolated when they develop mental health difficulties, or perhaps feeling a bit more optimistic that indeed there are ways to manage depression and other mental illnesses, and things like depression, like psychotic. It happens to many people around you. We are only not aware of it, right? Because it's often not something that we openly talk about. And yeah, I think that in addition to spending time with family, spending time with friends, doing hobbies that I really enjoy, like cooking, baking, those kind of things, making these videos, that's really been a highlight of my past.